But these questions are extremely important here. Joining us now, Charlie Gasparino, along with Cox Communications President Pat Esser, who is with us. This is the largest privately held cable company, certainly in America. Charlie, to you first on this news.
Yeah, we should point out before I got cut off by the news conference, this is what I was going to report, that officials at 21st Century Fox, you know, our company, run by Mr. Murdoch and his sons James and Lachlan, are closely monitoring the DOJ action on Time Warner, AT&T, to determine exactly how they're going to proceed with planned asset sales. Here's what we know from sources close to the matter, that the DOJ antitrust action against the Time Warner, AT&T-Time Warner deal complicates the 21st Century plan to spin off these assets, complicates them for Mr. Murdoch, complicates them for the potential suitors, namely Comcast and Disney. And the DOJ suit could delay any sale of assets, what sources are telling us, to Disney or Comcast indefinitely, possibly, until this thing gets settled, which a lot of people think it'll take 4 or 5 months. What I understand from bankers is that the DOJ action could make it nearly impossible for 21st Century Fox to sell to Comcast. Why is that? Because this would be an integration where they would say it's a horizontal integration. They don't, there's potential companies inside there that are sold, that are competing amongst themselves. Therefore, it becomes antitrust. It's a little less of an antitrust issue, from what I understand, to Disney, but still something that could be a deal killer. Now, the reason why you see our stock down so much right now, if you take a look at Fox A right now, is because that, what savvy investors are saying is, you see, that's really when the announcement was made. What savvy investors are saying is, if you can't get through the AT&T-Time Warner deal, which is purely vertical, right? And they usually like the vertical nature of integration because there's less antitrust issues. It's not competing, thus it's vertical, the integration. Well, you're not going to allow something like an Disney sale, purchase of our assets, or a Comcast sale purchase of our assets, because that's more of a horizontal thing where you do have some properties that could be theoretically competing amongst themselves. At least that's the theory, and that's what investors are saying. So, this is something that the market has been waiting for. Every telecom merger right now is essentially, if you talk to bankers, they say it's put on hold. That doesn't mean they won't happen. That doesn't mean people won't roll the dice. But this thing right now, what you're hearing involving the DOJ and AT&T and Time Warner, is probably the biggest news on Wall Street right now, because it puts the brakes on, or it just puts question marks next to a bunch of deals, including our planned asset sales, which looks like we are clearly shopping vast parts of 21st Century Fox. Not we, but Mr. Murdoch and his investment bankers.